Avery was 4 at the time, expressed, as you said, this preference. How did you know that it wasn't just a phase or just curiosity and something more in regards to a life-changing decision?
Well, a lot of times what people hear on the outside is a child liked to have their nails painted or they wanted to wear princess dresses or something, but there's so much more to it. It's not just a preference for toys or clothing. With Avery, we really saw that she was struggling. She was acting out. She was being depressed and angry and talking about death. And yet when she would put on a dress, it wasn't just the clothes. She really took on a female persona. She named herself a different female name, and she was relating to all female characters. She was the mom or the sister during playtime. And it was any time that she was expressing herself as a girl, her face lit up, her eyes sparkled, and she was a completely different kid than when she was being treated as and seen as a boy.
How did you make the decision to go from saying, okay, express yourself through clothing, to now we're looking at medical intervention? Is intervention even the right word to use?
I think, as the person in the audience just said, it's therapy. We went to our pediatrician. We went to see some psychologists and some gender therapists. We are a lucky family. Avery told us very directly one day, "You keep saying that I'm a boy. You think I'm a boy, but I'm a girl on the inside." And that obviously puts things in an entirely different light. So we went and we talked to the experts and we did the research and we read about when gender identity is really formed in kids and when that awareness starts. And it does seem to start between around 3 to 5. So it completely made sense to us that even though we were telling her, you're a boy and you can wear dresses and that's fine, she very clearly pushed back and said, okay, but I'm not. I'm a girl.
Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. Medically speaking, as we heard, both of these kids are below the age of puberty. How is this addressed now when the child has reached puberty stage?
Yeah, so maybe let's take a step back, Tamron, and just talk about what Avery's mom was saying and what we know these days about gender development. When kids are 2, by the time they're 2, they know the difference between boy and girl. By the time they're 3, they identify as either boy or girl.
Do they know, or do we teach them? Because is it like they know?
They know, Tamron, they know.
What do they know, for example, about being a girl?
They know that they themselves are a girl or a boy. They know what some of the normal gender roles are.
That's what I'm asking. Are we teaching them? Because at 2, someone says, this is what girls do, or this is how girls behave. How do they know gender? Much like race. They see that we're all a different color, but it's not until you tell them that's a black woman. They might see the difference in shade, but the word black woman is taught. Race is taught. Is gender taught?
So gender identity is a combination of things. Some of it is biological. They know the difference. The biological characteristics that define a boy or a girl at birth, they know those differences.
Well, they can see the
18
physical
months,
difference.
exactly, 2 years. By the time they're 4, they know whether they themselves are boy or girl, and they actually develop a gender identity. And that gender identity might match what they were born as, or it might not match. And at any point in this stage, a child who identifies as gender diverse, we know from research, Tamron, and this is really important, that if a child identifies as gender diverse at any stage in this development, they know their gender identity as clearly and as consistently as any child their age.
So if you have a child that clearly and consistently identifies as a gender that they were not born, and they are 16 years old, and they want to transition, medically, is that the appropriate age to start introducing hormones and changing to the gender they identify with?
Tamron, sometimes even earlier than 16. And to speak to Avery's mom's point, there's a lot more that we can do these days for kids. And this is not something that we jump to. This is something that is done with a team that has assessed and evaluated and supported this child.
How long does that assessment last? Is it a year, 2 years? What's the time?
It really depends on the child.